Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our European Draft Glory franchise mode here in NHL 26. So last episode, if you did not catch it, we had the first round of the playoffs against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and it wasn't a textbook first round, but we did get the victory, which was nice, in only 5 games, so it was a convincing victory in terms of that, but our wins all came in 1-goal games, so I don't know if that means necessarily that our team has been perfect, but I do think that means that I think this team could be maybe a little bit better than years past in some ways, just because it seems like we could edge out teams in these close games. Our goaltender numbers haven't been super good so far through the playoffs, which is also something that's a little bit different than past years, because in past years we've had really dominant goaltending and then our offense hasn't been good. This time around, it's our goaltending that hasn't been super good, but we've been able to outscore the opponent in mostly every single game, except for obviously that 7-4 game against the Blue Jackets. So I think our team could be in a better spot this year going into the second round, just because our goalies have numbers to improve upon. If they were doing really good again, obviously, then the next round would probably be a letdown regardless. But I'm not too sure exactly what to expect from the second round, because we are going up against a really tough Philadelphia Flyers team that is averaging 4.8 goals for per game after that first round. So maybe because they're a really good offensive team, our goaltending will randomly improve and somehow shut them out, or maybe it will just become a pretty even series and one of these series that could go to 7 games or something like that. So I'm hoping that we could obviously continue to build up on our team, and hopefully we could have wins that are not just decided by 1 goal, because those games are a little nerve-wracking. But if we're going to win them, it's not the end of the world, I guess. But you can see we're getting some decent depth scoring from our entire roster, especially guys like Kuda and Henry really stepped up in that first round. Kuda having 5 points in 5 games, Henry having 3 goals on 5 shots. So really liked how our fourth line has been this year. That's definitely something that we haven't had in the past, is a fourth line that does well offensively. But you can see, like, based on the plus minus, so there is definitely a lot of issues with the plus minus on the team, but I do think that will improve if we start getting our goal scoring back to the way it was during the regular season. From a defensive standpoint, the only defender that was kind of not a or a good player was Polak. He was a -5 with no points, so I'm hoping Polak kind of steps up a bit in the second round. And then also from a goaltending perspective, like I said, the goaltending numbers pretty atrocious, but both of them only combined for the 1 loss during that round. So going to be interesting to see how the team shapes up in this round, but I do think that we might be in a better spot than we were last year, but at the same time, we want to obviously find ourselves into the conference finals as well. So anyways, with that said, let's get in you guys' comments. What you guys have to say about last episode, and then I will show you guys again what Philadelphia's lines look like, and then we'll see if we're able to pull off the upset. So the first and only comment is from I Am the Quiet One, who says, great playoff round, excellent games for the bottom 6 forwards. Looks more tough to play Philly, and if they take Europe out, they might win the cup, or Boston if they win their series. And yeah, that's the one thing that's a little bit nerve-wracking, of course, is since we're going up against a tough Philadelphia team, if for some reason they move on and face off against Boston, who knows? Boston has Urquhart and Antonio. Maybe those guys are going to get a chance to go for the Stanley Cup this year. I'm really hoping that's not the case, but I hope that our team obviously can make it back to the conference finals like last year, because I do think we are in a better spot than we were last year in terms of like regular season and playoffs. Like 58 wins during a regular season is insane. We did win the President's Trophy, of course, so there is a little bit of a curse on that sense. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. But aside from that, I do think like our bottom 6, since it's been reworked a bit, it's a bit more stronger in some ways that it wasn't last year. So I think we can win games against Philadelphia. It's just going to take obviously a lot of work, because their lineup is pretty damn strong compared to what Columbus's was like. If we go to their forward group, you can see their forward group, nothing crazy other than, I guess, like Lundin, Michkov. This Pisani guy assimilates really well, especially next to Michkov. So they do have some underrated lower end overall guys, but their defensive core is the thing that scares me the most. Boganecki, Purrington, DuPont, that's a really good top 3 defenders. And then the rest of their defensive core is also decently strong. Their goaltending is also really good with Ruslan Mayorov, who is a 90 overall goaltender, and during the season had a 924 save percentage, and in the playoffs has a 938. So I do think it's going to be tough to score goals on him, but if we could get our goal scoring back to where it was during the regular season, we might be able to score goals against him. So should be interesting to see what happens with that. They also did have an injury to this Kapitanov guy. I don't know where he slots usually into their forward group, so I'm not even going to worry about looking when he returns, but I would assume he would probably push Reynolds out of the lineup, because Reynolds is a winger. So Anyways, I think we're ready to get in this matchup and see what we could do. We've never played Philadelphia, I think, in the playoffs before. Kind of sucks to go up against Purrington because he was a guy I really wanted to draft back when we were in the early stages of this franchise mode. But unfortunately, we didn't get the first overall pick. He ended up on the Islanders, and then he left them down the road and went to Florida and then signed a multi-year deal with Philadelphia. So that's why he is there at this point in time. But let's see what this team could do and see if they can build off the first round. Obviously, if we get into any issues early on, we could make some line adjustments, but we're going to keep the team the same as it was at the end of the last episode. So let's see what this team could do. And also our HL team is also in round 2, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully they have a good round as well. First period. It is 3-0 us. That's a really good start, and that's kind of what I was expecting, hopefully, in a way, but not fully. I wasn't expecting to be up 3-0 after 1, but I was expecting that since Mayorov had such good numbers in the first round that he wouldn't be as good in the second round, and I'm expecting since our goalies had bad numbers in the first round that they'll be much better in this round. Well, Hromis opens the score with 2 goals in a span of 3 minutes, and then you have Kuda score as well, so Kuda continues where he left off from last episode, so this is a really good start for our team. 3 goals on 11 shots. They have nothing on 10. Maybe this is the way it's supposed to be. Maybe we're not supposed to have good goaltending numbers in the first round if we want to have a good second round. So, anyways, it's 3-0 after 1. Can we keep this lead intact in a second? Maybe get some more goals just in case, because Philadelphia probably does have the offense that they can come back in games like this. Second period. It is still 3-0. All right, that's good. That is good, and that's kind of what I was hoping for, just a good defensive period. Shots are even, but we're up by 3 goals. So far, it looks like our goaltending and defensive play is back to where it was during the regular season, and obviously our offense stepped up big time in that first period. So now can it lock it down in the third? Maybe get one more just in case, but this is looking like a really good first game in the series. Third period underway. But yeah, I really hope that maybe our goaltending numbers drastically improve by the end of this round, like I think they can. As Klinga makes it 4-0, so it looks like it's going to be definitely us winning this game. But it's definitely a different type of game than we had last round. Like I said, a lot of our games in the first round were really close. This one, not as close. Michkov does make it 4-1, unfortunately breaking Simic's shutout. But our team is going to find a way to win game 1. And like I said, definitely a different type of victory. Shots were pretty even in this game, but we do win by 3 goals. As we get our defensive play back to where it was during the season, our goaltending, and maybe even our offense too. So hopefully we can build upon this in the next game because it's only 1 game. But obviously, if we could do multiple games like that, then this team could actually definitely get to a conference finals for sure. So we have Hromis from Green, we have Hromis from Pau, and Paco. Geez, that's always a tongue twister. We have Kuda from Barrett and Lee, and then Klinga from Paco and Green is the last goal. So a lot of our top guys getting points in that one, and then also Kuda, like I said, has been absolutely fantastic for us on our 4th line. I think actually maybe I moved him up at the end of the last episode, did I? I don't remember if I did. He might be on the 3rd line now based on his ice time and all that, but he has been a really effective player. And then Simic, like I said, that's some really good numbers, and that's the type of numbers I was hoping he'd put up in the first round, but he didn't. So I'm really hoping this second round is where he starts to come alive a little bit. All right, well, we do have a 1-0 series lead. We are 5-1 so far in the playoffs. As we have another home game, we're going to keep the team the exact same because there's no reason to make adjustments after a win like that. Let's see if we could take a 2-0 series lead headed to Philadelphia, because that would be a really good spot to be in going on the road. So let's see what happens. See if we could have another good first period like last game. If not, hopefully we at least play good defensively in the first period. First period. 1-0 Philly. Okay, that's still a good defensive period, but it does suck to be trailing after the first. And our offense, like I said, is a little inconsistent, so I'm hoping that it kind of comes alive a bit in a second. But shots are 11-9 in favor of them. Pedersen with the goal, so that's a defenseman, or Peterson, I think it's actually pronounced probably. But it does suck to be trailing, but we're still in the game. We just got to obviously get maybe some more shots on net. Maybe their goaltender is going to have a much better second game than he did first game because he was not that great in the first game. Maybe that's the difference in this one. I'm not too sure, but can we find a way to tie this game up in the second or even grab the lead? Second period. 3-1 Philly. Ugh, we did tie it up, McElhaney, but then Simmons scores 2 goals. And they were both in the span of 9 seconds. So apparently the new Bill Moisienko, or whatever his name is, that scored like 3 goals in 20-something seconds. Almost had like a guy break his record, but Semin is the difference in this game right now. Unfortunately, Simic isn't putting together as good of an effort in this game too as I was hoping for. 3 goals against on 18 shots. We have 1 goal on 21 shots, so we are generating chances, but the goaltending definitely the difference here in game 2 for them. Can we find a way to get back in this game in the third? If we could score an early goal in the first few minutes, we definitely could still tie it. Third period underway. Can we get within 1? Can we get within 1? Those 2 goals were really quick apart, so maybe we could get 2 quick goals of our own. It's definitely doable, but it's tough against the Philadelphia Flyers team that is a bit stingy defensively, as we don't score there. Oh, we do score there, though. McElhinney's got his second of the night. Can we find a way to tie this game up at 3? Come on, boys. We've had some close games all playoffs. Power play for us late. We do not score on it. I don't know why it says simulation pause, because that's the third period. And that was weird. That just like glitched out. But we end up losing game number 2 by a score of 3-2. So unfortunately, despite outshooting them 34-23, we end up losing because of 2 quick goals from Semin. That's unfortunate. And that's the difference in that one, as the series is now tied heading to Philadelphia, which means we need to take at least one of their 2 games on their home ice. But McElhinney from Nakamura and Rankin, and McElhinney from Rankin and Nakamura. So the only offense really coming from that second line in this game, which is unfortunate. It's not a bad thing that it's only one line doing the work, but obviously the top line was -2, which is not ideal. The fourth line, look, it had hit some issues, which is kind of surprising. Pollock still has not done much for us, which is not good. And then Simic, an 870 isn't great, but at least it's not like he's posting like an 800 save percentage or something. But the difference, Semin, 3 points for them, got first star, McElhinney second star. And then Mayorov was definitely a main reason why they won that game too, because he definitely stepped up this time, not like he did in game 1. All right, well, we might need to make some adjustments. Sucks to lose our first game since that 7-4 game. Technically, both of our losses in this playoffs have came on a Monday, which is kind of interesting. Let's see if we should make some adjustments. Both of these teams are 5-2, so I want to be careful not to give the Flyers all of a sudden like a winning streak in this playoffs, because if I do, then that's going to be problematic. Is Fernandez is losing morale due to ice time? Yeah, he is. Oh boy. I guess I could change some things up about this top 6. Cutler is not a centerman. Who also could take face-offs other than Fernandez on that third line? There's not really anybody. I could always move Barrett up and then move Fernandez up to here, but Berkowitz doesn't win face-offs. McElhinney does win somewhat face-offs. Maybe I can move McElhinney and Fernandez, just swap the 2 of them. I know McElhinney just scored in that game, but maybe that could change things up a bit. Fernandez down the middle instead of Rankin, and I don't really want that, so I'm going to swap Fernandez and Nakamura around. Let's just give Fernandez a little bit more ice time just to change things up on the offensive side of things. And then from a defensive standpoint, I am going to move Pollock back into that top 4 again just to try and get his offense going. And Richardson will go back down. But I'm going to keep a Simic for the time being. But if he has another bad game, I might go back to Ambul again. Like we've been kind of flip-flopping between the 2 of those guys for a little bit this playoffs. Anyways, it is only a tie series, so it's not like we're trailing yet. We just got to find a way to play good in Philadelphia if we want to be in a good spot, because if we lose these 2 games, obviously we'll find ourselves in a bad situation. So let's see what happens here. Game 3, as the series shifts to Philadelphia, can we find a way to win on the road and get our offense back to where it was in the first period of Game 1? First period. It is scoreless. All right, that's fine. Scoreless is good because we are still a strong defensive team at times, but also Philadelphia is too. It's definitely tough to beat Mayorov. Shots are even 13-13, but nobody has scored so far, so it seems like a bit of a goaltending showdown. And it's kind of interesting. I guess that's technically how the series has been. Simic had a really good first game. Mayorov had a really good second game. This one seems a bit more even for the goaltenders. So far an interesting second round. Can we find a way to get that lead in the second period? Second period, it is still scoreless. Damn, we only had 3 shots all period, so we're kind of lucky that Simic is keeping us in this one. I'm glad that we kept him in net, because so far he's the only reason why this game is tied, because we got outshot, I think, if my math is correct, 15-3 in that period, which is absolutely atrocious, but we're lucky, like I said, that this game is still tied. So let's try and find some more shots on net, because it's definitely tougher to win games when you don't get a lot of shots, especially an elite goaltender like Mayorov. So can we find a way to get that lead somehow in the third period, despite being outshot badly in that second period? Third period underway. Who wants to open the scoring for us? Power play. We do not score. It does get our shots up there, which is good, but obviously got to find a way to score goals like that. Roger Green makes it 1-0 Europe. Love to see it. Let's go, Roger. He was the one that got us to this round, and Lee makes it 2-0. Let's go. The difference in this game is Simic right now. Absolutely. And then the fact that our team is able to get more shots in the third period as we're going to win 2-0 in Philadelphia and take a 2-1 series lead. So nice to take a win on the road. And it is a shutout victory for Simic. So Simic's had 2 good games out of the first 3. He makes 35 saves. And like I said, he was a big reason why we won that game because we look at the shot chart. We got outshot 15-3 in that second, like I was saying, yet we only allowed no goals basically throughout that entire period and the entire game. So that's definitely the best goaltending performance he's put up in this game so far. Love to see it. But Polak had 2 assists, so a little bit more ice time for him, and he picks up a pair of assists. You'd love to see that. Green had a goal, of course, and a couple other players with points, but love to see our guys step up here. So it was Roger from Polak and Klinga, and then Lee from McElhinney and Polak. All right. And then the 3 stars of the game, Simic, Mayorov, and Green. This has definitely been a goaltending showdown, which I don't mind, because at least that means Simic's numbers are going to be going up. Mayorov we knew was going to be a tough goaltender to score on, but as long as we're able to play good defensively in front of our goaltender and our goaltender's able to make saves, we could still win them. So I do like the spot we're in, but we need to find a way to win this next one, or else it's going to be still tie series. If we win this one, we could be 1 win away from going back to the conference finals again. So, and it won't be against Boston, because it looks like Dave Antonio and Urquhart might be eliminating the Montreal Canadiens relatively soon, unless they get reverse swept, which could happen, but kind of crazy that Antonio and Urquhart have been able to willpower that team to potentially conference finals, because I'm pretty sure there wasn't really any good forwards on that team unless they signed some more people, but they were definitely the best defenders on that roster, so it will be kind of annoying to go up against them if that is the case, but that could be what happens if we do still get through Philadelphia. So let's keep the team the same and see if we could take a 3-1 stranglehold on a tough Philadelphia roster. Come on, boys. Let's get her done. Let's win on the road here, and then hopefully we can find a way to win on home ice the next game. First period. 2-0 us. Good start offensively. Love to see it. And also they outshot us in that first. But once again, Simic has been definitely a lot better here in round 2, which is kind of what I anticipated with how bad his numbers were in the first round. Barrett scored first. Rankin scores with 13 seconds left. That's a good start. But obviously we got to make sure that they don't get back into this game at all in the second, because they definitely still win this. It's still within reach. But we got to make sure they don't just get anything. We need to outshoot them in the second and don't let them get any crazy chances in front of Simic. Because if Simic gives up a goal, then he could start giving up more, but if he actually plays good, then he might be locked in for this entire game potentially. Can we find a way to keep this lead intact in the second? Second period. 3-1. Okay, we do have that lead still intact. They did pull within 1 with 44 seconds left from Pisani, but McElhinney scores not much later with 29 seconds left in the period, or else it would have been a 2-1 game after 2, but instead it is a 3-1 lead. So McElhinney's starting to come alive as of these last few games, which is fantastic to see because he's obviously one of the higher paid players on this team. I think he's making over $7 million, so love to see that he's been helping out here with his playoff run. Shots are 24-22 in favor of Philadelphia, but we're up by a pair of goals. So far, Simic has been important to this team again. Can we find a way to get some insurance and lock this game down? Third period underway. Can we get some insurance? But so far, we've been playing good on the road as Bill Zonin makes it a 1-goal game. That's not good. I feel like I'm going to sneeze here soon, but if I do, I'll have to cut the audio. No, Lundin ties the game up. God damn it. Oh, of course they find a way to tie it up. Penalty kill off, please, boys. Thank you. That would have been scary. Final few minutes here in regulation, and we head to an overtime in Philadelphia. This is a big situation for both teams. Obviously, if we find a way to win, we are 1 win away from the conference finals. We lose this game, and we're back to square one again. So, not good that we blew a 3-1 lead, but maybe we'll find a way to win it still. Shots are 38-33 in favor of us, so both goaltenders have been still pretty good, but it's unfortunate that our defensive core kind of buckled in that third period. Hopefully it learns from its mistakes and plays good in overtime, and hopefully we can find a hero here. Now, who wants to be their hero is the question. Roger Green has been a hero in overtime before in the first round. Maybe he has more in him, so I'm going to shout him out. Let's see what happens. overtime underway in Philadelphia. Can we get the winner? Can we get the winner? Power play for us. We do not score on it. That's unfortunate. Thought we would have ended it there because our power play could be strong at times. Come on, boys. Find a way to get that winner. Find a way. Are we going to a double overtime situation in Philadelphia? The answer is yes, we are. Oh my goodness. We're out shooting them 51-40 right now. It's been a while since we've been to a double overtime situation. I could jump in and watch it, but then it could go to triple overtime and all that. But if we watch in Sim Engine, we know it's going to end quickly. So that's why I'm going to stay in the Sim Engine. But I am definitely nervous because I know it will end within the first like 5 seconds or so. I just don't know who's going to be the hero for us or the hero for them to tie the series up or give us that 3-1 series lead. So who wants to be the guy to maybe cement themselves into Europe United history with a game-winning goal here? I don't really care who it is. Could be the worst player on the team, which there's not really a bad player, I would say, on this roster. It could even be a goaltender. I don't even know. Maybe one of our former players will be like shooting from the puck from the press box and scoring a goal. Who knows? But we got to find a way to score the winner here, or else this is going to be tough down the stretch. But who wants to score the winner and give us this win? Overtime number 2 underway. I'm nervous, and it's going to be them. No! Are you serious? Trojanovic, which I think was a lower-end defenseman, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a bottom 6 forward, but unfortunately, they rallied back from 3-1, and we blew that game. We outshot them 52-41, but the difference is their goaltenders started to play good again, and this series is tied. I definitely think this series is going to go to 7 games at this rate, the way it's playing. Barrett from Berkowitz and Richardson, Rankin from Lee and Nakamura, McElhinney from Cutler and Berkowitz. So Cutler picks up his first career playoff point and career point in general. But we had a 3-1 lead in that point, and in those 2 goals in 5 minutes, unfortunately, get them back into the game, and then they win it in double overtime. I don't know if it would have been different if I would have jumped in and watched, but that kind of sucks. At least we did take 1 game in Philadelphia, so we can't be too complacent about how bad losing in double overtime and losing after being up 3-1 is, because we did take a game in their building. So, yeah, Simic was decent enough in that game, just unfortunately for us, we kind of buckled defensively in that third. And yeah, Mayorov made 49 saves in that game. He's definitely a tough goaltender to score on, so if we ever have a 3-1 lead again, we got to find a way to make sure that they can't get back into those type of games, but that sucks. I definitely think this is going to go to Game 7 still, but the way this has played so far has been interesting. Like, Game 1, 4-1 win, 3-2 lost, and a 2-0 win, then a 4-3 loss. Like, I definitely still see this flip-flopping maybe all the way until Game 7, but hopefully that's not the case, because I think that would mean they would win 2 in a row, potentially, if that was the case. Do I need to make any line adjustments after a game like that? I don't think so, because it went to double overtime, and I wouldn't really put it on any specific player probably in that one, so I'm going to keep the team the same on this one. If we lose this game, obviously I'll make some adjustments for Game 6, but this has been a back-and-forth series. Let's find a way to win this game on home ice and then be 1 win away. As Boston has swept the Montreal Canadiens, so Dave Antonio and Urquhart will be going to the conference finals, which means if we find a way to beat this Philadelphia team, we will have to play off against some of our former players. And then there's going to be a lot of people, if we end up losing that series, if we get there, saying, hey, you shouldn't have let go of Dave Antonio. And I don't know if Dave Antonio will be the difference in that series, but he could be. Urquhart was definitely somebody I had to let go of, so we'll worry about that when we actually get to that point, if we do get to the conference finals, that is. But I don't care if Boston finds a way to win a Stanley Cup this year and we don't. I just obviously would be kind of a little bit of disappointment because a couple of those guys were on our team. But let's keep the team the same, and let's see if our team kind of learns from that 3-1 blowing and sees if it could actually take another game on home ice, and then hopefully we could find a way to win in Philadelphia in Game 6, because that would be huge. Hopefully we get a good goaltending performance here. First period. 2-0 Philly. Oh no. Now Simic's having his worst start to a game. 2 goals against on 10 shots. Michkov and Brek Liskey, of all people. We are out shooting him 13-10, but looks like they carried that momentum from that overtime game winner into this game, which means we need to have a strong second period here, or else they could end up being the type of team that wins multiple in a row, because we will need to find a way to win in Philadelphia if we do lose this game, which is definitely tougher than it is to win in front of your own crowd. So Can we find a way to claw back into this game? Even if we score 1 goal in the second, we could get ourselves back into it. We just got to make sure not to give them anything else. Second period. 2-2. Okay, that's even better. Let's go. Klinge and Ullmann, of all people, the 2 Germans, I think, on the team. That is absolutely huge. And for some reason, Mayorov is not in net anymore, as they do have Glenn Guerin in net. So their lower overall goalies in net. I wonder if Mayorov got hurt just because he's been peppered with so many shots over the last few games or what. But that would be huge if he's actually injured. But damn, that is a good sight to see that Ullmann and Klinge were able to score. It's a 2-2 game now going into the third. Looked like it was not going to be a great game, but now all of a sudden it's back to those close games that we had like against Columbus. We know how to play in these situations, so I'm really hoping our team can find a way to get the lead. So let's hope we could do that in the third. Shots are 26-19. Let's see if we could get our first lead tonight in the third. Third period underway. Penalty kill to start the third. It's a 5-on-3 penalty kill. I don't know why we're taking penalties, but at least we killed it off. I'm surprised that this team still takes penalties without Law being on our team anymore. As Kapitanov must have came back from injury for them, and he gives the Flyers a 3-2 lead. Oh boy, that's not good. Final few minutes. We're still only down by 1. Can we find a way to tie this game up? Come on, boys. You had a good second period, and unfortunately, we're not going to find a way to tie the game up. The difference in the game is the guy that returned from injury. And even though they had Guerin in net, we end up losing 3-2 despite outshooting them 35-33. And all of a sudden, we're on the brink of elimination. Not good. Not good at all. That second period was good. It's just unfortunate that we don't find a way to get back fully into that game. And we don't find a way to score another goal on Guerin. Because if Mayorov is injured, going up against Guerin, you think we'd have a better chance to score more goals, but I guess not. Anyways, Klinge from Hromis and Green, and we had Ullmann from Henry and Kuda, so good to see Henry and Kuda continue to get up points, but that's definitely the type of game you want to use that home ice advantage for, and unfortunately, our team just does not get it done. It's not on Simic again. It's not on our defensive play. It's probably not even on our... It's probably more on the offense. I guess we're not scoring a lot, but definitely... It said Mayorov was in net for a bit, too. What the heck? Was he in net for the beginning of the game, I guess, and then he must have got injured? Yeah. See, Guerin came in for the last 37 minutes of the game and allowed 2 goals. And then Mayorov was perfect throughout. So hopefully he did get hurt, and hopefully we won't have to face him again in this playoffs. But if it was just a day-to-day thing, he would be back for this next game. Let's see. Is he actually injured or not? It would show him on the bottom if he isn't injured. He isn't injured, damn it. Well, that's not good. We need to find a way to win a game on Philadelphia's home ice again. So we're going to make some line adjustments here. Fernandez is still losing morale due to ice time. Is he not on the power play? Oh, yeah, that's right. He isn't. I got to take Berkowitz off the power play here, get Fernandez some playing time on this power play unit, because definitely that's where he's losing a little bit of morale. So we'll go kind of flip-flop the 2 of these guys around. We're going to go back to even strength here. And I'm going to flip-flop some of these lines around again, go back to these lines for a second. Is there anybody that I've been disappointed with? Cutler, kind of. I will go with Akuda on this line. Cutler has only got the 1 assist all playoffs, right? And he's -4. I'm going to take Cutler out of the lineup. I could send him back to the AHL playoffs, but I'm going to get Appleby in the lineup for a game just to change something about our team. We could put Edgar Miller in because he is a good defensive forward instead of Barrett. But Barrett's been +4, and Henry's been good, so... I mean, I could actually not put Appleby, and I could just put Miller in instead, because Miller is a 2-way after all. Make our fourth line a bit more defensively minded. I don't mind that. But apparently that makes it a -1 on the chemistry, which is not ideal. But I don't know if it would make a difference really in a game like this. So we'll go with that, even though it's -1. And then from a defensive standpoint, I am going to flip-flop these defenders around again. Kind of just go back to Lee and Paco again. God damn it, I didn't want to do that. I want to go like this. And then we'll probably go to something like, yeah, that, I think, for the rest of it. Go back to our old defensive core. Simic has been much better in this round. He's got a .914 save percentage now, so he's definitely still staying in net. And I really hope he finds a way to win this game. He is listed as a low franchise, which is still funny as heck. So let's go with that. Sucks to scratch a young, promising player like Cutler, but I don't know if I should have called him up yet for this playoffs or what. But he's been getting his chances. He has 14 shots for 10 games, but only 1 assist. we definitely could use a little bit more out of him. So I will leave him scratch for this game and seeing if punting into a defensive player like Edgar Miller could help us win these type of games a bit more. So let's get to game 6. Sucks that we're in this spot because we were up 2-1 at one point. But now, of course, we need to find a way to force a game 7. And like I said, I think this series definitely had it in it to go to a game 7. So I definitely still think it can go to game 7. But obviously winning in Philadelphia is easier said than done. We did shut them out in one game on their home ice. So maybe we could do it again. So let's see what ends up happening. Let's see if we could get our offense back to where it was before, because it hasn't been super strong, I guess, in the series, but we need to find a way just to force to do a game 7, and hopefully game 7 we can find a way and win in front of our fans. So real-time simulation. If we win this game, we force a game 7. If Philadelphia wins, they move to the conference finals to take on David Antonio and Urquhart. And we open the scoring. Fernandez, let's go. It wasn't even a power play goal, but he gets a little bit more ice time, and he scores the game's first goal. You'll love to see that. Kind of a bad angle on that shot, too, maybe. Long penalty kill. I don't know if somebody took a major or something and they get a power play goal. I don't know who took that penalty, but that was absolutely atrocious to take that penalty as Lundin gets a power play goal. And unfortunately, this game will be tied after the first. After it looked like we could have had the lead going into the intermission break, but somebody took a long-ass penalty. Kuda took a tripping penalty. Then there was a double minor for Richardson for high sticking, and then slashing for Klinga. So not good that we've been a little bit undisciplined in that first period, but at least it's only a tie game and we're not trailing, but we should have probably had the lead. Just we gave them way too much chances on that power play, and they eventually converted. Can we find a way to get that lead back in the second? Let's see what happens. Second period underway. Come on, boys. Let's go. Rankin scores on the first shot of the second. Love to see that. Penalty kill, and they get another power play goal. It's Michael Misa. We got to be a bit more disciplined because it seems like their power play's been really good in this game so far. Then again, we've been a little bit undisciplined, so that's probably why too. Come on, boys. Please, Europe. Please, please, please. As we will be heading to the third period with a 2-2 game. Shots are 20-15 in favor of them, so we're lucky it's a tie game because they definitely have had a lot more power plays, I think, than us in this game. But if we could find a way to get that lead back again, let's hope that we could actually play some good defense. So far, Simic has been important in this game again. I'd say our offense has been better in this game, but obviously it's been a little bit concerning that they've been able to score right back pretty much every time we've scored. So this is an important last 20 minutes of this game. We have a good 20 minutes here. We could be forcing a game 7. We have about 20 minutes. Our season could be done. We have an okay 20 minutes. Maybe we could extend it into an overtime, but we need to be coming out strong here in this third period. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Hopefully the high-paid players on this team get going in this period. Like Klinga, I don't know who else is a high-paid player on the offense, but Bob Paco could score a goal too. That would be nice. Semin gives them the lead. Is Semin literally like the Dadonov of this Philadelphia Flyers team or something? As he gives them the lead, but we tie it up. Barrett, huge goal from Barrett. He was very close to coming back out of the lineup, but we left him in, and he does force this game to overtime. Holy moly. All right. Well, I know we're going to definitely be jumping in here because we're on the brink of elimination, but we are lucky we didn't take Barrett out as he picks up that late goal to get this game to overtime. Well, let's jump in and watch some overtime because obviously this is a game that we need to win or else our season is done. Hopefully somebody could be a hero on this roster. I could have just done through simulation, but I feel like watching the game is a lot more interesting. So let's see if we can force a game 7 back on home ice. And hopefully if we do, hopefully we come out strong in that game too. But we need to be good in this overtime. Because obviously since they have the home ice advantage, it's going to be a little bit tougher in this one. All right, here we go. Both teams top lines. Roger versus Michael Misa. Let's see what Roger's got. He will not win the opening draw. That's unfortunate. Here is Bill Zonin for the Flyers, carrying it in. Paco will let him drive out wide. Zonin throws out front. The first shot of overtime, dangerous one. Couple block shots, and we need to get out fast because they might get pressure if they keep on doing that type of shot. Fast from Lee over to Horomis. He finds Roger. Roger will dump it in. Horomis will chase after it, but Boganecki picked it off. Purrington finds Zonin. Oh my goodness, this is stressful. Why do we have to be in these overtime situations? Oh my goodness, get it out. Thank you. Philadelphia is kind of scaring me with every time they have the puck here. Here they are again. Nice play by Paco. That's why he's our captain. Makes some good defensive plays even though he's an OFD. Horomis gets stood up as the Flyers seem to be having all the momentum here to start off overtime. Hopefully, we can weather the storm a bit. Here comes Klinga. Rudolph Klinga finds Roger Green. Green's a little bit low on energy. Can't get by. Still has it. Can't get a shot off on net. This reminds me of that one game where we barely got any shots in the third period and we still won the game. As they will be icing the puck, though. So we will have an offensive zone face-off in the Philadelphia zone. As Boganecki, I think, must have iced it because they just showed him. But let's see if we could get an offensive zone face-off win. Rankin will be up at the draw against Eddie. So I guess they were in the middle of making a line change. And unfortunately, he doesn't win it. That's a bad loss face-off because we probably could have taken advantage of a face-off like that. Here's Lyndon Lakovic. Lakovic drives in. I'm surprised he drove into the net. Simic stays right with him, and he'll stop it. We got to be careful about those guys driving around the net like that. All right. So Kapitanov is their second line center, so he's the guy that returned from injury, and he gets to play in their top six. Interesting. Rankin wins the draw. Michkov shot it right off that as Rankin won it on the forehand, but Michkov was right there to shoot it right away, and what a big save from Simic. God damn, that was scary. Usually when you win faceoffs is a good thing, but that faceoff just clearly went right to Michkov, but they almost have full pressure, which is a little scary. We need to make sure that they don't stay in our zone too long, or else they will get that pressure as they right back into our zone because our team keeps turning it over. Here comes Nakamura over to Rankin. Rankin will scoot up, finds McElhaney. McElhaney holds up to it. Our team is still kind of slow looking when we watch them. McElhaney. He's had a good series, but he gets bullied off the puck. Lakovic finds DuPont. Over to Peterson. Peterson leading the rush for the Flyers. Peterson poke check by Polak. Here's Rankin all the way back up, and it's with McElhaney again. McElhaney making some moves. He gets around the defender, gets a shot on Mayorov as we finally have a shot here in overtime. It only took around 8 minutes. All right. Offensive zone face-off. The third line's out there. Fernandez, Berkowitz, and Kuda. Let's see if they can get something. Fernandez can't win the draw again. That's unfortunate. He doesn't have the craziest face-off, so I guess it makes sense. Peterson trying to walk in here. Peterson with a shot. Oh my goodness, that was a loose puck right there, and that kind of scared me that it was going to find its way in. Here's Kuda. Throws it all the way up. Berkowitz finds Fernandez. Fernandez is tripped, I think. Maybe no. Maybe he just got bullied off the puck. Damn, he just got bullied off the puck. I thought he got tripped. The way he animated. That was a little bit weird. That sucks. Because I want a power play, please. That would be nice. Here's Kuda again. Kuda driving into the O-zone. Lost it. As this overtime has not been super eventful so far. But maybe we'll see something soon. Fernandez finds Paco. Paco throws it to Berkowitz. Berkowitz to Fernandez. Fernandez walks in. Fernandez with a shot and it goes wide. That was a good look. At least it got towards the net, but it didn't get on net. Here's Henry over to Berkowitz as we get to see the fourth line come out there. Henry walking in. One-timer for Klinga, and that's turned away. It's a 102-mile-an-hour bomb is turned away. Damn, Klinga's got such a hard shot, but he's not fast at skating, so there's a chance for the Flyers. Pisani's with it. Nice play by Lee on the defense, and he finds it back to Hromis. Henry's back out there again. I guess we have our first and fourth line a little bit out there. Here's Klinga. Klinga gets by, but turns it over. Klinga with a little stick check and a nice knockdown, but unfortunately the Flyers have possession of the puck now. Semin walking in for the Flyers, throws it over. Nice defensive play by Lee. Might have saved the goal there. Bob Paco with it. Paco throws it all the way over to Hromis. Hromis can't get in the zone fully, but Henry keeps it in. Here's Henry. Drops it back, and unfortunately, everybody had evacuated the point. Ullman getting hit here by Semin. Semin finds Carney over to Boganecki. Boganecki drives in. Toskala, a shot. That's a big save there from Simic. There was a rebound there too, but at least Miller cleans it up because he's a good two-way forward. Philadelphia keeping it in the zone as they nearly have pressure here. Carney throws it back to the point. They cycle it around. Toskala turned over. Richardson's got it. Richardson up to Henry. Henry's hit, but Richardson falls the play up. Richardson, the defenseman, throws it into Ullman. Ullman, another defenseman's shot. It's turned away. This is a good look. As Ullman's not an offensive defenseman, but he looked like one there. Here comes Semin again for Philadelphia. Semin holding onto that puck, finds Boganecki over to DuPont. DuPont's shot is deflected but blocked before it got to the net. Toskala lost it. McElhaney is hit, but Roger Green's got it, and he'll get it out of the zone again. They still almost have full pressure, so we got to be careful if it gets back into our zone, which it probably will. As his first overtime is almost done here. We do not. Oh, yeah, we do get possession. Roger Green gets decked. Here's Landon DuPont getting hit from Nakamura. Nakamura forechecking hard. Semin will take it low in his energy. Semin throws it over. Nice pick off by Ullman. He finds Green. Roger throws it all the way up, and that's almost offside, but it's not. Nakamura drives in. Can't get by Boganecki. He throws it all the way up, and unfortunately for him, he just put it right on net, but he didn't get a pass through. Here's Barrett. Barrett dumps it in. He had the tying goal, of course, late in this overtime now, as we might be going to a double overtime situation here, potentially. Here comes Semin, low on energy. A lot of guys on him, though. And Nakamura's got possession, and he'll find it back up again. Here's Barrett in the final 25 seconds of this first overtime. Polak lost control, and now Toskala's got it. Toskala throws it up, but Pau intercepts it. At least we're starting to play a little bit better defensively now. But we need to definitely get more shots on goal in the next overtime if there is one still. Here's Carney for Philadelphia. Still onside. Nice stick there. I think that was Pau again. Here's Pau making some moves. Doesn't get a shot on net. And we'll head to a double overtime in Philadelphia, looking to extend our season. We've had some crazy luck in double overtimes before in the past with like Adam Benak scoring a crazy shorthanded goal. But we need to find a way to get that next goal. We need to find a way to, if we want to keep our season alive. Let's head to double overtime. They're out shooting us 39-32. It was not necessarily an ideal first overtime in terms of chances, but maybe we'll develop some more in this second overtime. Or maybe this will go to a third overtime. Who knows? But let's see what happens. Roger wins the draw. Lee finds Hromis. Hromis will dump it. Good forecheck there from our boys, but they break it out quite easily, the Flyers. Here comes Lundin. He's dangerous. Lee trying to stay right with him. And he forces him to pass that behind the net. Here's Boganecki out front. Good defensive play, though, by our boys to take that pass away. Hromis will find Klinga again. Rudolph Klinga knocks down the guy with a good old reverse hit. And now he'll forecheck on Purrington. Hromis has got it now. Hromis to the net. That's a good chance there. I'm surprised he got to the net with that, as we almost have full pressure, but they're going to get out of zone. Michael Misa making some moves. Misa still with it. Paco stays with him. Got knocked down, but at least he negated that chance. Here's Green again. Roger lost control of it. Purrington looking for a heads-up pass, but they can't get it through yet. And Lundin's got Zonin. Zonin walks in. That shot doesn't get to the net as our team playing good defense. A huge save there by Simic on Eddie. Another chance and another save. Oh no. Oh no. Another big save as the Flyers almost have that full pressure off 3 crazy quick chances. But Simic stays right with all of them. I don't like that they almost have full pressure, though, because we need to win this draw and get out quick, or else they're going to get pressure for sure. But we're lucky that Simic has made some big saves in his overtime, because this game could have been done by now. But look at that reverse hit from Rudolph Klinga. Love to see it from our assistant captain. All right, he's up there actually in hits, apparently, in this playoffs. Romas is number 1, though, which is kind of surprising still to me. But we need to win this face-off. Rankin versus Kapitanov. Come on, Rankin. He wins it. Nicely done. That's a huge face-off win. At least they'll make sure that they don't get pressure right away. Here is Pau on a pass from Polak. He can't get by Peterson. Our team manages to get the puck back. Yep, McElhaney finds Polak. Polak, the OFD, skating in, dumps it around. And now the Flyers have possession again. Lakovic all the way up to Dupont, up to Michkov. A lot of their pressure came off, but they still almost have full pressure. Michkov has shot another save from Simic as they're right back to full pressure again almost. I wish the pressure system was tweaked a little bit. It kind of annoys me with sometimes how it works, but we need to win this face-off again. It's Rankin versus Kapitanov again. Rankin does have good face-off rating, so hopefully he can win this here. And he will not. Kapitanov finds him as shot turned away. That's a huge save by Simic and will negate that pressure. Let's go. That's huge. That is huge. But they've definitely had a lot of more chances in this overtime than we have. We're lucky that we're still in this game at this point. Turnover. Here's Rankin again with the puck. Rankin can't get by. We need to get more shots on net, guys, especially against a good goaltender like Mayorov. It's going to take something crazy to beat him. As Landon Dupont trying to walk our team, but Simic will stay right with him. Big save there. Ullman almost turns it over. Good play there by Pau. They recover for a minute. Pau turned it over because Kapitanov is forechecking. Get it away. There you go. Berkowitz got it out. And here's Ullman. Ullman holding on to that puck. He'll skate up with it. Ullman still with it. Lost it. And now they have a one-on-one situation. Carney almost put himself offside. Lee will take it away. Nice job, Lee. Definitely worth the money when he plays good defense like that. Henry nearly turns it over. At least Simic was active with the poke check. As this Flyers with it again. Semin walking to the front of the net. Big shot blocked by our defense. At least our defensive play has been good in front of our goaltender in some situations, but they're still out shooting us, which is not ideal. Here's Semin again. He gets bullied down by Lee. That's a huge ass hit. And here comes Berkowitz. Ullman just onside. Back to Berkowitz. That shot just missed. Henry finds McElhinney. His shot doesn't get to the net as we start to get a little bit of momentum there, but unfortunately, it doesn't get even a shot on net, I don't think, on that play. Zonin again with it for Philadelphia. The ice starting to open up a little bit. Purrington will find Toskal, and a shot by him is stopped by Simic. Shots are 46-34. I don't remember what they were at the start of the first overtime, but I think we've only had maybe 5 shots so far. But what a hit that was from Lee. Absolutely blows up Semin, which you love to see, considering Semin, like I said, has been kind of a difference maker for Philadelphia in the series. Helped them win a game with 2 quick goals in one of the games. I can't remember what game it was. Maybe it's game 2. But here we go. Fernandez versus Pisani on the draw. Big defensive zone face-off. Come on, Fernandez. He wins it. Nice. Big face-off win there. For a guy that doesn't have hugely great face-offs, it's good to see him win one. Here comes Kuda. He lost control of it. Purrington finds it up to Pisani. Here comes Pisani over to Eddie. Eddie throws it over. Boganecki out front. Fico, that shot is turned away, as we're lucky that our goaltender has been fantastic in this overtime, because that definitely could have been a goal again, as they almost have full pressure for the 3rd time in this second overtime. Simic has made some really big saves, but now that they're showing a highlight reel of him making big saves, I don't feel good about this overtime all of a sudden. I just feel like they're going to make him allow a goal that he shouldn't. But he's been really good, at least in terms of trying to keep this team alive in this game. And in this series, for that matter. All right, come on, Roger. First line versus their 3rd line. You got this, Roger. You're a good face-off guy. And he'll win it. Nicely done, Raj. Let's go. Paco finds Hromis. Here comes Hromis. Hromis can't get by. Philadelphia's got possession of it as Vico gets behind our defense, makes some moves, but can't get even a shot to the net. Good job, guys, at getting back. Here's Roger again. Roger can't get by. It's now on the stick, though, of Klinga. Klinga finds Lee. Lee finds Hromis. Back to Lee. Back to Klinga. And we turn it over again. Jeez, Philadelphia is such a tough team. We knew they were going to be tough when we saw their defensive core. Michkov will dump it around. Here's Kapitanov. Back out front. Paco stays with him. Here's Green, Klinga, and Hromis breaking it out now. Hromis will just dump it behind the net. Come on, guys. We got to get more rubber to the net, though. I know you like the cycle plays, but you got to get shots on net, too. Michkov walks in. Big shot block by Paco on a 2-on-1. You love to see it. Bob Paco is a machine. And unfortunately, we turn it over again, and here comes the Flyers once again. Kapitanov walking in. Trojanovic, his shot is turned away. There was a rebound, but at least it didn't get anywhere. And Bob Paco gets bullied down. Eddie up front. Zonin, what a save by Simic. Oh my goodness, our captain got bullied. And then they get a good chance in tight. They do get full pressure, so we need to make sure we get this out fast. But Eddie absolutely blows up Bob Paco, so he's unfortunately now an enemy of this team. But they got a really good look out of that play, too. And Zonin gets absolutely robbed by Simic. Oh my goodness. Thank God Simic is our goaltender, huh? All right, here we go. Rankin versus Michael Misa on the draw with pressure on the way. And it's a tie-up. We get possession of that puck. Rankin getting hit from behind. Lundin will take it away as their first line's out there. Trojanovic to Lundin. A shot turned away by Simic. Come on, guys, just get it out. There you go. Powell throws it up, and that's going to be icing, I think. Yeah, that's going to be icing. God damn it. Wasn't too sure if it hit off anything, but we're in the final minute of double overtime. We need to be careful here. We need to be careful. As they get another big hit there. The Flyers are playing a little bit on the physical side. Damn, that guy's got lamb chops. What the hell? Shout out to Sheldon Lundin's lamb chops, but this is a scary game, man. 50 shots to 34. Come on, boys. Have we even had a single shot in this second overtime? I don't even know. Pollock finds Powell, and we get out of our zone, so the pressure system's negated again. Here comes Rankin. His weak shot is turned away. At least we've been fighting off the pressure system quite well, but oh my goodness, a huge hit. I don't know who that was. That was McElhinney that threw that hit. Here he is again with it, and he gets a shot on net, so we get a couple chances here late in the period. Lundin with it for Philadelphia. He'll carry it into the zone, making some moves. Still with it. Shot turned away again by Simic. They are giving our defense is giving them some good looks, but at the same time, we've made some smart defensive plays at certain situations, like Paco blocking that 2-on-1. Like, we're lucky that the shots aren't even worse than they currently are. Like, it's literally 51-36 the shots now. Fernandez wins that big face-off in the defensive zone, and we get back out again. Kuda finds Fernandez. He turns it over again. Our team's had a lot of turnovers in this overtime. Landina shot again, another save by Simic with 6.8 on the clock, as we could be potentially still going to a triple overtime, which is insane, because obviously if we would have been simulating this would have been done by now, because double overtimes usually end pretty quick. Fernandez versus Kapitanov on the draw. Come on, Fernandez, win another. And he does. Let's go, Fernandez. Big face-off wins. That's why we trained him in that area. They keep it in our zone, and they won't get a shot as we're going to triple overtime for the first time in franchise history. First time in franchise history. We're lucky we're still in this game, but our goaltender has been a huge difference maker. And the fact that our team has been able to get it out when they've had pressure, but some massive saves from Simic keeps this game alive and the series alive. All right, well, let's get to triple overtime. Like I said, this is the first time we've ever been in a triple overtime situation. Let's see if this team can find a way to get it done despite being badly outplayed in these overtime games so far. Come on, Roger. In this draw, he does win another face-off. That's good to see. Here comes Hromis. Hromis carries it in. Hromis still with it out front. Can't even get a shot for our team, but Paco finds Lee. Lee shoots it towards the net. Loose puck in front. It's like scrambled around, but nobody gets a shot on net. And here comes Purrington with it for Philly. Purrington can't get by. Our defense here's Landina shot. Simic another save. Love to see Simic's play so far. But, man, we need more shots on net. Lee with it. He finds Klinga. Klinga finds Paco, but Klinga was knocked in offside, so Paco could not advance. And Green will just dump it in. That's the way this overtime's been for us, is we just don't really get into the zone fully, or we get, like, weak shots away, or we missed a net. Oh, my goodness, that guy almost destroyed a deke. That was kind of crazy. Here's Lee. Lee finds Paco. Paco finds Klinga. Rudolph Klinga can't get by, as now the Flyers have maybe an odd man rush here. A breakaway for Boganecki unless their defense gets back. He hits 2 posts. Oh my god. That would have been our season done. But the posts, making some saves like Simic, as Boganecki was all alone on that play because we made a terrible change. And the 2 posts keep this puck out. Simic finds it afterwards too. Our season is literally hanging by a thread, but we're still staying alive. We are on the good side of luck right now. We need to find a way to win this game. If we win this game and win the series, that'd be insane at this point. Because this overtime has been dreadful to watch for the most part. Pedersen a shot. Oh no, Michkov is robbed in tight too. Simic with a backdoor save on that rebound. That was huge. Absolutely huge. Here's our team again with it, as they've been under pressure so much this entire overtime. One shot, though, could still end it for us if we could find a way to get it on net. Rankin throws it to McElhaney. He doesn't get a shot to the net. That's every single ozone shift we have, is just doesn't get anything to the net. Or they're not super dangerous chances. Here's Powell, finds Nakamura. Caden Nakamura will walk in with it. Gets away from Michkov, finds Rankin, he shoots it. I don't know how that one was not in, but that rebound popped out, and McElhaney's robbed by Mayorov, as Mayorov has not been busy, but he absolutely robs McElhaney on a grade A chance. Oh my goodness. This has been a weird game. All right, offensive zone face-off. Fernandez wins it. Powell. Pollock through the net. Fernandez shot is turned away. I don't know if that got on net or if it got blocked. I think it got blocked because I don't think our shots were 37 before this. Here's Kapitanov with it for Philadelphia. Finds Vico. His shot doesn't get in. That's another one that gets on net, though. Nice poke check there from whoever that is. I don't know. Oh, it was Powell. Powell with it. The defenseman can't get by. And now we have to play good defense here as they have a 2-on-1. Vico walks in. Shot is turned away. Oh, my God. This is like a 3-on-3 overtime type of play. And now we come back the other way. And we turn it over again. Oh, my God. They almost have 60 shots on net. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. There's another save. Save number 54 for Simic in this one. We've seen both goaltenders have some really crazy games in the series, so We're lucky that one did not end up in, because I thought with it being an odd man rush that they were going to. But they almost have full pressure again. Barrett wins the draw. Ullman finds Richardson, and we get out again, which is huge. Here comes Miller. Miller was put in the lineup just for this game. Here comes Henry. Over to Miller. Miller can't get by now. It's a 3-on-2. We need to get somebody back here if possible. Here's Vico. Vico gets by, finds it to Pisani. That shot is turned away too by Simic, as that pressure system is one shot away, or one face-off win away from activating again. As they have 20 more shots than us in this game, and I'm pretty sure majority of them have been in this overtime, or all these overtimes. Barrett wins another big face-off. Richardson. Ullman. Get it out. Get it out. Just stop passing it back around and stuff. That'll be annoying if it stays in our zone. Henry nearly turned it over, but he gets it back. And he throws it off the stanchion. So unfortunately, it will not go into their zone, but that means another face-off. His face-off just coming outside of their zone at least. All right, come on, Rankin, win this draw, man. We need more face-off wins. We've actually been pretty good at the face-off dot, I think, in these overtimes, but we just haven't generated shots, really. Torjanovic finds Liski over to Misa. Misa finds Lundin. Stay with him, guys. Nice play there by Bob. Bob finds it up to McElhaney. McElhaney carrying it in. McElhaney will shoot it. That doesn't get to the net fully, as it's blocked off a defender, so will it count as a shot on net? I don't know. I think maybe it did, but Mayrov will freeze it as we get no zone face-off in the Flyers zone. Come on, guys. Just got to find to get one, and then hopefully if there's another game after this, we can find a way to win it too, or else this will be disappointing to lose. In that situation, as McElhaney stopped in front as we get our 40th shot on net, so we're getting a couple chances, and the pressure system starting to build up a bit in our favor. We just need to obviously get some more shots and maybe some hits in their zone, and we can definitely activate it. Come on, Rankin, you've been good on the draw for the most part. He wins that one. Lee will take a shot that's turned away, as we do get a couple shots on this shift, which is something we haven't gotten really that much in this overtime so far. Lundin with it back for the Flyers. His shot's turned away. It's loose puck's in front, and Simic somehow finds it spread down on the ground. I don't even know where that puck was, but he somehow finds it. Sheldon Lundin's shot was a little dangerous, but that's a big save. Oh my goodness. Sheldon Lundin's had 8 hits for the Flyers. Jeez. I thought he was a sniper, but apparently he's physical, kind of like Hromis is for us. All right, come on. We got to win this face-off because I think they still almost have full pressure again. Rankin wins it again. Let's go, Rankin. Paco spins around, finds McElhaney. McElhaney will carry it into the Flyers zone. He gets stood up. Our boys trying to keep it in, and now here comes the Flyers again. Lundin trying to get around Lee. Lee makes another good defensive play. Our top defenders literally play like top defenders, but unfortunately right there we just iced the puck again. And it'll be another face-off in our zone with 4:17 left in this third overtime. This has been one of the crazier episodes I've had of a franchise mode just because of how many overtimes this has gone to. All right, here we go. Kuda on the draw. Why is Kuda taking the face-off? That's kind of weird. Purrington's shot doesn't get through, and we will get out of the zone, luckily. I guess so. Oh, yeah, we were in the middle of a line change maybe or something. I don't know. Because Kuda's not a face-off guy. Unless there was an injury in one of the overtimes, which there could have been, that I didn't see. Here's Paco, our captain. He's had some big goals in the past, and some overtimes can't even get the dump in. Here's Lee, though. Lee will spin. Lee will look around, throws it over, turns it over to Purrington. That's not a good pass. Here's Kapitanov. Nice play by Lee to recover, though, on that play. Here he is. Lee will dump it around. Nakamura will chase it down. He will not get that loose puck, but Michkov takes it away from him. Here comes the Flyers again. Linden, Lakovic, Michkov, and it's turned over again. Ullman finds Hromis. Hromis finds Kuda. Kuda gets bullied down. Jesus. The Philadelphia Flyers definitely play still like the Broad Street Bullies in this. Lakovic again with it. He'll shoot it. That's turned away. Rebounds there too, and Simic sees them both. But we take a penalty for interference as Richardson heads to the box with 45 seconds left in this third overtime. Oh, man. Of course, now they call a penalty. They haven't called a penalty for any of these overtimes so far, and they just called one there. Oh, my goodness. What did Richardson do fully? Let's see. It was an interference penalty. He just kind of boxes him out a bit. I don't know. That's kind of a weak call, but I guess it could be considered a penalty, but damn it. That's not good. They have 62 shots on net, I think it said now, if I'm not mistaken. But we have a big defensive zone face-off here. Roger Green and McElhaney out there on the penalty kill. They almost have full pressure. Roger wins it. And will Powell just clear it, please? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they have 61 shots on goal to our 41. Maybe we have another shorthanded overtime winner in us. Carney throws it up. Here is Bill Zonin. Zonin walking in, finds Lakovic. His shot's turned away again from Simic. Let's go. And our team's able to get possession of that puck again. Ullman will throw it up. Here's Roger Green shorthanded. We'll just dump it in. At least he's not going too aggressive for a shorthanded goal or anything, because I feel like that's not necessarily the play in an overtime situation. Here's Zonin again. Nice stick by our team. Carney doesn't even get a shot, and here's Roger shorthanded with it. Final few seconds. And do you know what? We're going to a quadruple overtime. I do not think I've ever been to a quadruple overtime, so if you're actually still watching this episode, shout out to you. This is the longest game in my channel's history. What a game this has been. They've had so many chances to win it. Like, they had the double doink here from Boganecki, and now they have a power play too. If we kill this penalty off and find a way to win, that'd be absolutely insane. But Simic has made 59 saves in this game, which is probably a team history, our team record in our team's history. So let's see what happens. There's 1:15 left on their power play, so if we could just find a way to kill us off, that'd be huge for us. Kalinga wins the draw. I don't know why he's taking face-offs, but that's okay. I guess he is on the penalty kill. So Hromis gets a short-handed shot on net, but he's turned away. Here's the Flyers with it again. Lundin in this overtime number 4. Michkov walks in, shot, another save by Simic. The loose puck's there. Kalinga will find that puck. Can't slap it out, though. Oh, no. Lundin with it. Shoots another save, and then Lundin got decked down without his helmet. Misa spins, and Simic makes another save. He's made 62 saves in this game. Simic is an absolutely insane in this one. And of course, now they're showing another Flyers hit. They've been so physical in this overtime. Like, I'm surprised they haven't been caught out of position because of these hits, but like, this guy's got 11 hits apparently, this Boganecki dude. Oh my god. We're lucky that Simic is this good. Holy moly. 62 saves. Come on, Klinga. Klinga wins that draw. Lee finds Hromis, and he'll clear it. That'll kill some more time off this penalty. Hromis will forecheck, but he'll peel back a little bit just because you don't want to get too aggressive on the penalty kill. Michael Misa makes another move. Can't get fully by Powell. Powell will stay with him. Misa throws it into the middle. Lundin is stopped by Simic. And they almost have full pressure again with 29 seconds left on their power play. And we're almost done the first minute of this 4th overtime. This might be one of the longest games in NHL history if it keeps going like this, but we got Henry on the draw. Come on, Henry. I know you're not good on faceoffs, but you win that one. He is technically a center by trade, but he isn't usually the best on the draw, so that's why we don't have him as a full-on center. 5-on-5 at least. All right, come on, guys. Let's get this puck back. Carney with it for them. Turnover almost. Boganecki walks down Main Street, finds Lakovic, another save from Simic. Zana gets pressured, and our team will not get it out. Here's a chance for Landon Dupont that goes wide, as they do have full pressure. Here's a chance again. That shot's deflected to the net, and that's turned away. 67 shots on goal. You know what that means. Henry will dump it, and we at least escape the pressure and kill off the penalty. This has been a weird game. Turnover maybe forced here. Maybe. Nope, not fully. Nakamura unfortunately couldn't jar it fully free. And here comes the Flyers again. Boganecki with it again. Throws it to Bill Zonin. He doesn't get a shot. Good play there by Nakamura. I think that was with the stick. And he'll carry it back into their zone. Nakamura still with it. Finds McElhinney. McElhinney doesn't get a shot. Boganecki's late in the shift, so hopefully he just dumps it, which he won't. He'll still chase it into our zone. Nice play there by Polak, even though he's low on energy. Here comes McElhinney. Over to Rankin. Rankin finds Nakamura. He doesn't get a shot. And the Flyers have possession again. Holy moly, this game, man. Lyndon Lakovic. Turned over. Rankin finds Berkowitz. These guys must be super tired playing 4 overtimes at this point. Like, I don't even know how you could play that many games. This is a second game, and it's nice chance there for McElhinney. He's turned away. Lee keeps it in their zone momentarily, but it's going to come right back out. That was a good chance there from Caden. Or whatever. Yeah, I think it's Caden McElhinney, right? I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong with his first name, but whatever. Fernandez finds Lee. Here comes Berkowitz. Berkowitz walking in with it. Can't get by. Carney finds Zonin, and we make another good defensive play. Here's Barrett over to Lee. Over to Barrett again. Here's Lakovic. Lakovic can't get by it. Lee turns it over. Lakovic a shot. Another save from Simic. Here's Boganecki to Dupont over Lakovic again. That shot goes wide. Here's Hromis, and he's trying to almost put it in his own net, but at least he'll get Simic to freeze it. But that's a little bit nerve-wracking that he didn't just get out of his zone a little bit easier. Oh, Simic has been on his game right now. All right, here we go. Another face-off. Green versus Kapitanov. Come on, Roger. Swinnis, and he won't. Here's Boganecki. Lakovic with it for the Flyers. He gets the shot through, but it's not going to count as a shot on net, I don't think, because it might have been partially blocked. All right, come on, guys. I just get out of our zone. We've been good on the face-offs in these overtime situations. Just got to find a way. Roger versus Kapitanov again, and Kapitanov wins it again. Boganecki to Purrington. His shot got through. That's turned away. But Purrington was knocked down, so now we have an odd man rush. Klinga got it over to Hromis, and it's off the post. What the hell was that? I don't even know if that was a hard shot, but Hromis hit the post, I think. And we got an odd man rush chance, which we haven't gotten much of in these overtimes, just because Purrington got completely destroyed there by Klinga. Which they could have been teammates at one point if we would have had the first overall pick the year Purrington went, but here is Roger again on the draw. Come on, Rog, just win this draw and let's get some shots on net. We haven't really had some sustained pressure in this overtime whatsoever, so I would like to see that from our team if possible. Damn, half of this fourth overtime is done. If you end up watching all these overtimes with me, then you're a real one. You're a real one. Here's Hromis. Over to Richardson. Up to Rudolph Klinga. Klinga holding on to that puck. Klinga throws it out front. Can't get the pass across fully. And they got possession back of the puck again. Here's Trojanovic. Trojanovic finds Kapitanov. Kapitanov gets tripped by Ullman. Why are we taking penalties now all of a sudden? I think our team's just getting too tired or something. We usually don't have a lot of speed already, but now Ullman's in the box here in his first season back from the AHL as he takes down Kapitanov in a play that he could have probably been a little bit better at, but now we have to kill off another penalty in this fourth overtime. And we got Henry and Kuda out there, who have been two of our better players in this playoff run. At this rate, I don't even know if I'll look at player stats after this game or not, but we'll see. I just don't know if this episode's going to be too boring being this long. Kuda will clear it. Nice play there by him. Under a little bit of pressure, but he still backhanded it out. Burrington finds Michkov. Michkov up to Lundin. Lundin finds Misa. Misa will flip it around. Lee will try and get to it. Lundin gets to it first. Henry will take the puck. Finds Kuda. And he will clear it nicely. Let's go. All right. Here's Purrington with it for Philadelphia. They're out shooting us by 26 shots in this game. That's kind of insane. Michkov finds Lundin. Another save, as that's the 70th shot on net for the Flyers in this one. Pow's got it. He finds Henry. Henry with a bad pass. He probably should have just dumped it. Here's Michkov again. Michkov trying to make moves, but Lee stays with him. And Henry's got possession now, and he can't clear it. Lyndon Lakovic, I think that was still with it. Yeah, Lakovic's got it. Throws it over. That shot's blocked. Powell will pick up that loose puck. And Henry will clear it again. Damn, 70 shots on net is insane. I don't think I've seen a game like this at all. Like, what happens when you get to like 100 shots in a game or something like that? Lakovic walks in. Nice play by Powell again. He's been really good defensively in this overtime. And then he turns that over there. Lakovic can't get a shot to the net. Nakamura will take it. And guess what? That puck is out of the zone again. I've liked our penalty kill effort so far. But we got to be more disciplined here too. Because it would be nice if we could get our own power play, but the refs haven't given them anything so far, the Flyers. You know, the Flyers have been really aggressive in terms of their hitting in this overtimes. Lakovic can't get by Powell again, as Powell's just sticking right with every single player. He hasn't missed a step whatsoever. Here is Polak, and he will clear it, which will kill off the remainder of the second power play they've had in these overtimes. All right. Well, now let's see what happens in these parts. Now, here's Eddie with it. Eddie with it for the Flyers. He can't get a shot. Polak straight with him. And he turns over the puck. Here's Eddie again. Dupont for the Flyers. That shot stopped. Eddie, a loose puck and stop. Rebound. They score. That's unfortunate as shit. Matvei Michkov, as our team does not get it out. And they literally had so many chances to win this game earlier, but they didn't. And they forced us to go all the way to almost the fifth overtime. And our team got badly outshot. Simic is the reason why this team even had a chance to go to a Game 7. That's unfortunate the hell is to lose in game 6, because I thought we could have maybe found a way after they hit that double doink, but the Flyers were definitely a really strong team to go up against defensively, and unfortunately, they will meet up with the Boston Bruins in the conference finals, which means there's a chance that some former players of ours are going to find a way to maybe win a Stanley Cup. But I don't think I'm going to look at any player stats to end off this episode. And I'm not going to simulate to the offseason and all that just because this episode's so long already at this point. Actually, I might look at player stats, but I don't think I'll look at who wins the cup and stuff yet. I'll leave that for the beginning of the next episode, but damn it, that really sucks to lose that. Simic really was held out to dry in his last chance too, because Polak could have made the simple play here. He goes for the pass. Powell is tired already in his shift, so he can't get to it. I don't know if somebody was making a line change, but Hromis was kind of cheating a bit offensively, and then he can't get back because of that. And then the Flyers get their cycle going. Landon Dupont gets a bomb through a screen. Huge save there from Simic. This rebound, absolutely huge save again there by Simic on Eddie to keep the season alive. But then there's a loose puck here. We have 3 guys swarming in front of Simic, so Simic can't even get open to make another save. And he can't, actually, I guess he does get open to make another save, but he can't get there on Michkov. So, Polak, it's mostly Polak that's a little bit problematic here. He turned it over, and I don't know what his defensive route is here, because he's on the same side of the puck as Pow now. And then he's just battling in front, and he ends up on top of his goalie, pretty much, when this goal goes in. So, that's a really disappointing way to lose a series, but we got to give shout out to Simic, because Simic was absolutely locked in this game. Absolutely locked in. Like, he almost made 70 saves in this game. 68 saves in the overtime loss. Like, this game will go down still as one of the crazier games in channel history, but unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of it. Unfortunately, we are. Lee had 2 assists and was +3. That's good, at least. But, damn, man. That's insane numbers. Definitely something that's screenshot worthy. And that's why I drafted Simic in the series. I didn't have any idea he was going to be that good, but he was absolutely locked in the series, and he just could not find a way to get us that win because our offense could not score. There was multiple times where that game should have been over. They outshot us technically total in those overtime periods. It says 40-14. 40-14. That is absolutely outrageous. That's all of the overtimes combined. God damn. Well, we need to get actually a screenshot of Simic. You know what? That's actually a good idea, is get a screenshot of him. It's unfortunate that I did not adjust his mask because he doesn't look as cool with a Ducks mask, but I still need to get a screenshot of him because this guy is a machine. He is a machine. Let's get that screenshot quickly, and boom. All right, well, that's that. Let's finally wrap up this episode by looking at our player stats. And then, like I said, I think next episode I will have to basically start it off by looking at like who ends up winning the Stanley Cup and all that. I don't know about the draft class and all that. I'll probably just leave that to look at in next episode as well. But this really sucks to go out in this round, but I think for the most part, I don't know if our team really deserved to beat a team like Philadelphia, but we had a chance. We were up 2-1, and unfortunately, we lost 3 straight games. So it's unfortunate to get bad at the wrong time, but from an offensive standpoint, we had nobody that was point per game, but you can see we had some decent depth scoring this year. Like, I definitely think we could have beaten them if for some reason our team just found a way to win that overtime game. If they found a way, but they didn't. Some players were a little disappointing. Miller actually had an assist in his only game, so that's kind of nice to see. He was +2. Defensive standpoint, Polak was definitely a disappointment. He was the only minus defenseman, really, other than Powell, but he was a -8. So, yeah, Richard Polak, I like the guy offensively, but from a defensive standpoint, eek. He is signed for a couple more years still, but that's not great, man, that he plays that bad defensively. And his offensive numbers still should have been better, too. And in goaltending, yeah, Simic eventually got his numbers up to a .920 save percentage, but we could not score that much. And that was a problem. Because you look at game by game against Philadelphia, his only bad game of that series, really, was the .870 save percentage game. Everything else was above a .900 save percentage. So, shout out to him for giving us a chance, but unfortunately, we come up short. All right, last thing I want to take a look at quickly is the contract situation. I'm not going to look at the draft class stuff because it's going to add way too much time to this episode, but I do want to show you guys who's pending free agents, so you guys can let me know if we should bring them back or not. But we don't really have any big UFAs this offseason, it looks like, except for Ambul and Net, and Tambellini's still an RFA, same with Kosh. But technically everybody's signed into next season except for a couple RFAs, so we should be able to run back the same team again, but are they going to be able to find a way this time in the playoffs? I think the next year I want Koch as the backup, so I'm probably thinking about letting go of Van Boel because he could be a starter somewhere else. And a Tambellini, we could hold on to still as a backup option / third stringer. So we'll see what we end up doing about that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Europe United Draft Glory. Draft Glory franchise mode. I can barely even speak because I've been talking for so long. But in next episode, we'll take it to the 2041 offseason. Disappointing entity here, but I do think at least it shows that we do have some good goaltending, good defensive play. It's just more that in that overtime, we really didn't generate chances, so we need to still work on getting our offensive core better. But I think having guys like Cutler maybe get some growth in the offseason could really help things around. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.